Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're taking a look at a kind of straightforward version of Arceus VSTAR that is going to be adapted to the Astral Radiance metagame. We have seen a decline in Arceus decks ever since Astral Radiance came out because Palkia does a really good job of keeping Arceus decks in check. A lot of Arceus decks like to fill their benches with Sobbles, Drusiles, Crobats, stuff like that. And this deck is kind of built to not have to bench a whole bunch of stuff because we simply don't play things to bench. We play a 4-3 Arceus line and a single Ice Cube. Now, those are our Pokemon. So it's kind of straightforward and it's based heavily around I'm just going to spam you with Marnie, Pass, Hammers, Fans, and Cheren's Care and see if you can get around just these giant two-prizers, two-shotting anything while I'm just disrupting you a lot. And that's kind of the basis behind the deck. I haven't tested the deck much, but on paper it does seem pretty decent. So let's just get right into the list, starting off with the Arceus VSTAR. If you don't know what this card does by now, I don't know how it's possible because this card has been a mainstay in the game ever since it released in Early Stars. So yeah, we have a 3 of the Arceus VSTAR and 4 of the Arceus V. And there's not much to say. Arceus VSTAR is good, and it's just a good line. There's not really much more to say. And our one other Pokemon is this Ice Cube. And this Ice Cube has been seeing a little bit of traction in just kind of random decks because it attacks for Water Colorless. It does 70 damage with the block face, and then during your opponent's next turn, you prevent all damage done to it by attacks from basic Pokemon. Now, basic Pokemon have a pretty good place in the metagame right now. There's Miltank, there's Blissey, there's the Reggie deck. There's just a lot of basic Pokemon that are running around right now. And Ice Cube completely walls them up. So you can basically take auto wins to two established good decks in the metagame and just Miltank, which can be a tech in a whole bunch of decks. And it attacks for water up double colorless, so it means you can use double turbo on it. You don't really care about lessening the damage of 50 damage because as long as it's doing damage, we're progressing the game. It might be a slow progression of the game, but we're still progressing the game. One copy of Ice Cube just slots really well into this deck. Then we have 4 copies of Marnie. Like I said, we're just going to be spamming our opponent with Marnies, Hammers, Cheren's Care. So we're going to be playing 4 Marnie. Also 4 Boss's Orders because we want to be aggressive. Turn 2. That's what Arceus really excels in. It is just being fast, being aggressive in the early stages of the game, and having that consistency that most decks don't. So 4 copies of Boss's Orders just to maximize so we get that, and we don't have to Starbirth for it, which is nice. 3 copies of Cheren's Care. And let's be honest, this is literally just what makes Arceus so good. If Arceus didn't have access to Cheren's Care, who knows how good it would be. Cheren's Care is just such a powerful tool for the deck, and gives it so much versatility and staying power. Just because if your Arceus doesn't get one shot, you just put it in your hand and basically reset an entire turn that your opponent took, which is an entire turn is a lot. We've seen that with the Dialga deck, how an entire turn is a lot of time. And Cheren's Care can potentially just reset an entire turn from our opponent, which is really strong. Now the other thing that Arceus has in its favor is being able to really utilize Roxanne well, because Arceus, after he uses Starbirth, doesn't really care if there's Path in play or not. Decks like Palkia, they have their VSTAR power and Greninja. Mew obviously does not want Path in play at all. Arceus, I think, is going to be a main deck that will really not mind having a Path in play. And Path Roxanne Hammer is a really strong combo. So we're running 2 guys of the Roxanne. The only reason I'm not running 1 is because we don't have a way to search it out with Druzile or a way to draw it easily with the barrel or Luminion or anything like that. So we want 2 so we can find it off our Pokegears easier and just naturally draw into it as well. And our last supporter, 1 copy of Melanie as well. And the reason I'm running the Melanie is because you can Melanie to your Arceus, Energy Switch to your Ice Cube, and then attach double turbo to your Ice Cube. And it's kind of like a what was I going to say? It's kind of like a way to power up the Ice Cube 1 turn, because you do have 1 copy of Energy Switch as well. So the 1 copy of Energy Switch, like the Melanie Energy Switch package, kind of helps you set up the Ice Cube versus this matchup that you need to get set up in. Then we have 4 copies of Ultra Ball, which is just a really, really good search card, and we're not playing any Quick Balls in this deck just because you're going to start with Arceus more games than you're not going to, and all you're really need to find at that point is maybe another Arceus V or 2, and a VSTAR, and Ultra Ball finds both the Vs and the VSTARs. It's just a solid card, so we're playing 4. And then, as I mentioned, this deck aims to just throw hammers and destruction cards at your opponent, so for hammers as well. And then since we don't have a draw engine like the Barrel or Drizzile or anything like that, we're running Pokegears to search out our supporters and try and find the supporters that we want when we need them. This is also why we're running such like heavy copies of the boss. We can Pokegear into them easier, and we don't have to Starburst for that boss turn too, which is really, really nice having an extra spot, an extra card you can start with for. Then we're running 2 copies of Evolution Incense because, like I said, you really want to get that Arceus V-Star on the second turn of the game as much as possible. So we have the 4 Ultra Ball and the 2 Evolution Incense. And to make our Arceuses as tanky as we possibly can, 2 Big Charms. And the list just keeps going on and on of how we just build up an Arceus and just disrupt our opponent. 2 copies of Fan of Waves. Well, I would run 3, but there is not as many special energy decks in the format now. It's really the only special energy deck that's really still around is Mew. But Fan of Waves is pretty solid versus Mew, so we still might as well play him. And we have a couple of one-offs. We have 1 copy of Choice Belts and 1 copy of Energy Switch. We still have the Choice Belts, even though we're going to be ideally wanting to attach Big Charms for Arceus. We still have the Choice Belts that can attach to our Arceus and make it KOs of these that have 210 HP, like the Ice Rider, things like that. Other than that, the Choice Belt, we would much rather have a Big Charm attached to our Arceus most of the time. Then we have 4 copies of Path to the Peak. Because like I said, Arceus doesn't really care about Path as long as it gets to use Starbirth before the Path comes into play. So we just have 4 because it's good. Path is just a very, very strong card overall. And we want to be able to draw into it. Once again, we have the Barrel, we know Drizzile and Teleon. So we're going to have to naturally, if you're naturally drawing into these paths most of the time, you can Starbirth for 1, I guess, if you want. But most of the time, we're going to be Starbirth with like Double Turbo Boss or like Double Turbo Arceus V. So we want to be able to naturally have the option to naturally draw into this path as much as possible. Then we have 4 Double Turbo. Because Double Turbo is just what makes the Arceus deck function. If Arceus didn't have Double Turbo, who knows how good it would be, honestly. And for energy, this might seem kind of weird, but we actually have 10 basic water energy. And the reason for this is because we want to be getting Arceus and energy down turn 1 as much as we possibly can. And as long as we can do that, we're going to be in a really, really good spot. So having the 10 basic energy alongside the 4 double turbos, that's 14 energy. Might seem a lot, but it'll help us get that attachment down turn 1. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Quick little video here. I just want to show you guys this deck I whipped up because I feel like it's not bad. Yeah, that's going to do it. Hope you guys liked it. And if you do, don't forget to subscribe. I do content like this all the time. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.